Most families believe danger comes from outside their home, from strangers, from dark streets, from people they don't know. This family was wrong. For 10 years, they lived safely inside their house, raised children, celebrated birthdays, and slept peacefully, never knowing that the most dangerous thing in their lives was already inside the walls. And it was watching them. This story begins in a quiet suburban neighborhood in the United States, where nothing ever made the news. A place where neighbors waved politely and crime felt like something that happened far away. In 2011, the Parker family moved into a modest two-story home at the end of a calm residential street. It wasn't old, it wasn't abandoned. It had passed inspections, appraisals, and background checks. Everything about the house seemed normal. The father worked long hours. The mother managed the household. The children grew up believing their home was the safest place in the world. And for a long time, nothing proved otherwise. Years passed without incident. The family adjusted to routines. School mornings, quiet evenings, weekend dinners. The house felt stable, predictable, until small things started happening that didn't feel dangerous, just strange enough to notice. The first sign wasn't something dramatic, it was sound. Late at night, after the house had gone quiet, the family occasionally heard movement where there shouldn't have been any. Not footsteps, not voices. Just soft, controlled sounds that didn't match the structure of the house. At first, they assumed it was normal. Houses make noise, wood expands, pipes shift. Nothing about it felt threatening. Then came the second sign. Objects inside the house began changing positions. Not disappearing, not breaking, just moving. A door that had been locked was suddenly unlocked. A light switched off after being left on. A window found open in the morning that everyone remembered closing. The family blamed each other. Miscommunication. Memory mistakes. Simple explanations were enough to keep fear away. But what they didn't realize was that someone had learned their routines. The sounds always happened at the same times. The movements only occurred when the house was empty or everyone was asleep. Nothing was ever damaged. Nothing was ever stolen. It was careful. In 2016, the family installed basic security cameras, not because they felt threatened, but because it felt responsible. The system covered the front door, backyard, and main hallway. For years, the footage showed nothing unusual. No intruders, no suspicious activity, no alarms. The house remained quiet on camera. That was the problem. In 2020, the family experienced something they couldn't explain. One night, the mother woke up convinced someone had walked past her bedroom door. She checked the hallway. Nothing. The camera showed no movement, no alerts. The next morning, the front door was unlocked. Again, no footage. At this point, the family considered the possibility of a malfunction. Maybe the cameras were faulty. Maybe the locks were old. Nothing justified panic, until a neighbor mentioned something disturbing. The neighbor casually asked if the family had been renovating. When they said no, the neighbor explained that they had seen lights on in the house late at night, while the family was out of town. The family checked the footage from that night. The cameras showed an empty house. No lights, no motion, no entries. That was the moment doubt turned into fear. The family upgraded their security system. New cameras, better motion sensors, full interior coverage, every hallway, every floor, and for the first few weeks, nothing happened. Then one night, the system sent an alert. Motion detected inside the house at 2:11 a.m. The footage showed something impossible. A shadow moved across the hallway wall. Not a person, not a reflection. A shape that shouldn't exist. The camera didn't capture where it came from. It didn't capture where it went. It simply appeared and vanished. The family reviewed the footage repeatedly. There were no doors opening, no windows moving, no alarms triggered. It was as if the house itself had moved. Terrified, they called the police. Officers searched the house thoroughly. Attic, basement, crawl spaces, nothing. The walls were solid, the structure intact. No one could explain how movement occurred without entry. The officers suggested a technical glitch and left. But the family didn't feel safe anymore. They began sleeping with lights on. Doors locked, cameras monitored constantly. Still nothing else appeared until one final discovery changed everything. While reviewing old footage, the father noticed something no one had seen before. A delay. One camera feed didn't match the timestamp of the others. It lagged by seconds, just enough to miss something. When technicians investigated, they found hidden wiring that didn't belong to the camera system. It ran behind the walls, deeper, further. The walls weren't empty, and whatever was inside had been there for years. For 10 years, the family had lived above it. Around it, next to it, unaware that the house wasn't just shelter, it was concealment. And the wall wasn't just part of the house, it was part of the crime. When the police sealed the house, the family believed the nightmare was finally over. They were wrong. Investigators returned the next morning with forensic teams and structural engineers. The wall that had collapsed wasn't treated as an accident anymore. It was evidence. Every inch of it was photographed, scanned, and measured. Behind the drywall, they found something carefully planned. The inner structure of the wall had been modified years earlier. Support beams were repositioned. A hidden cavity had been created, too precise to be accidental. Whoever did this knew construction, and whoever did it wanted that space to exist. The house records were pulled. Renovation permits, ownership transfers. Repair history. One name appeared repeatedly. The previous owner, a man who had lived alone in the house before the family moved in. He sold the property quickly. No forwarding address, no social connections listed, but he wasn't invisible. Police discovered he had worked as a freelance contractor, specializing in interior remodeling, walls, floors, structural modifications. The realization hit hard. The space inside the wall wasn't a mistake, it was intentional. Inside the cavity, investigators found more than just remains. They found personal items, buttons, fragments of fabric, a broken watch. Each item dated back years. This wasn't one incident, it was a pattern. Forensic analysis confirmed it. The remains belonged to multiple victims. Not all at once, over time. The wall had been used again and again. The family had unknowingly lived inches away from a crime scene that had been accumulating for years before they ever arrived. The investigation widened. Missing persons reports were reopened. The timeline matched disappearances across nearby counties. People last seen entering properties linked to the same contractor. He had a method. He didn't leave weapons. He didn't leave blood trails. He didn't leave witnesses. He used structures, walls, foundations, hidden spaces no one thought to check. The house was only one location. Police tracked his work history and identified 3 other properties with similar layouts. Each one was evacuated and inspected. 2 contained hidden cavities, 1 contained evidence. The man was finally located living under a different name in another state. When arrested, he didn't resist. During interrogation, he said almost nothing. Just one sentence, "No one looks inside walls." The case closed quickly after that. The family never returned to the house. It was demolished under court order. Today, the land is empty. No marker, no warning. Just a reminder that danger doesn't always come through doors or windows. Sometimes it's already built into the walls around you. The discovery behind the wall forced authorities to confront a reality they had avoided for years. What had once been dismissed as coincidence now formed a clear pattern. The remains found inside the wall belonged to Michael Trent, a former tenant who had vanished 10 years earlier. His disappearance was officially recorded as a voluntary relocation. No crime, no suspects? No follow-up. That record was now false. Investigators reopened the case immediately. The house was sealed, and forensic teams returned with one question. How could a body remain hidden inside a family home for a decade without anyone knowing? The answer wasn't neglect, it was design. Architectural experts confirmed that the wall was not part of the original blueprint. It had been added years earlier during a private renovation approved without inspection. The internal cavity was deliberately widened and reinforced, creating a concealed compartment that blended perfectly with the structure. This wasn't an accident, it was intentional. Records showed that the renovation had been signed off by one person only, the previous property owner. That name appeared again in old police reports tied to Michael Trent's last known location. The owner was brought in for questioning. At first, he denied everything. He claimed Michael was just a tenant who left suddenly. He said the wall modification was for structural support, but the timeline didn't lie. Phone records placed both men in the house on the same night Michael disappeared. No outgoing calls afterward, no travel records, no sightings. When confronted with the forensic evidence, the story collapsed. The truth came out slowly. Michael had confronted the owner over a financial dispute related to rent and illegal subleasing. The argument escalated. One moment of panic changed everything. The owner didn't plan to kill him, but when it happened, he panicked. Calling the police would end his life as he knew it. So he chose another option. He hid the evidence. Using the ongoing renovation as cover, he sealed the body inside the wall layer by layer until it disappeared completely. When the work was finished, the house looked normal again. Then he sold it. A new family moved in and lived there for 10 years. The owner never returned, never checked, never spoke of it again until the wall was opened. In court, the defense argued that time had erased intent, that there was no proof of premeditation, but the prosecution focused on one fact: the wall was built after the death. That single detail changed everything. The verdict was unanimous. The former owner was convicted of second-degree murder and evidence concealment, sentenced to life in prison. The family who lived in the house was cleared of all wrongdoing. Authorities confirmed they had no knowledge of what was hidden behind the wall. Counseling and relocation support were provided. The house itself was condemned, not because it was unsafe, but because no one wanted to live there again. Today, the property stands empty. Not haunted, not cursed, just silent. A reminder that some crimes don't hide in darkness. They hide in plain sight. Behind walls we trust, some crimes are loud. Others stay quiet for years. If this story made you think, like the video and subscribe for more real crime stories. Thank you for watching.